production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica's poverty rate has dropped from 16.7% to 8.2%. As the government's economic program begins to pay off, our country is heading towards sustained growth. We are building Jamaica. The time by the office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 3 minutes after 9.
You're inside the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Good morning to you. It is Monday. It's Monday, October 13, 2025. We are alive and well, and for that we give God thanks. Top of the morning to you if you're listening on the 90 FM band, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7 and 90.9 on your FM dial. We appreciate your company there. If you're listening and watching on our YouTube channel, good morning to you. The channel is Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. That's Nationwide 90 FM LIVE with the number 2 beside that. So go on over there and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Monique Hunter is first in the YouTube chat this morning. Good morning to you, Monique. I'm winning right now, says present for class. Good morning, I'm winning right now. Hugh Donaldson, good morning to you as well. Errol Townsend, top of the morning. Chris Daly, good morning to ya. Let me see who else. Roger. Good morning to you, Mr. Roger Smart. Good morning to ya. Ryder 40, good morning. Albert Morgan, top of the morning to you as well. Sonia Hutton, Lady HR, good morning to you. Sylvia Corley, Elaine Headley, good morning to you. All the others over there on YouTube, big up on yourself. If you're listening from our mobile app, Revo News, it's available for free on the Google Play and the Apple App Store. Good morning to you. Those on our website, the Listen Now option there. Top of the morning to you as well. You can listen and watch on our website. It's revonews.ai. All right. So go on over to our website and check it out. Use the AI feature as well. Yeah, man. Use up the features on our new website. Thank you all for making it Nationwide 90 FM. I'm also live on TikTok. I want to big up the TikTok peeps as well. Al, big up yourself. Colin, good morning to you. Mr. Overthinker, good morning. Miss Pecco, good morning to you. Jaden, big up yourself. And everybody over TikTok, big up on yourself every time. Morning, Rando. Good morning, everybody over TikTok. And I want to say a special good morning to all my family in Manchester. I went to Manchester yesterday, went to family home, and it was very, very good to see all my family. Now, I'm here thinking if I should start calling names, because I wait for people, but then I'm probably get myself in a problem, but I'm going to try my best. So, Auntie Elota, big up yourself. Uncle Jody, yes, Uncle Jody, that's what I said. Uncle Jody, that's his name, Jody. Big up yourself. I don't know what my grandma was thinking, but yeah, that's what she named him. Big up yourself, Uncle Jody. Auntie Alcian, Auntie Lydia, Auntie Nettie, Ashali, Danica, RJ, Rohan, Shamar, who else there? Dante, who else there? Mahalia, who else there? And the girl with them say, look like a twin, Jamila. I have a cousin who looks like a lot like me. Big up yourself. I think that's everybody. Oh, Uncle Foxy, big up yourself too. People, yeah, that's his name. That's his name, Jason. Uncle Jody. That's what my grandma named him. You're gonna have to ask her maybe if you meet her in the afterlife. But that's what she named him. Anyway, back to what we're supposed to be here doing. It's a Monday morning, which means it's time for Immigration Mondays. All right. And inside Immigration Mondays, if you're new here, we usually begin by getting an update on immigration-related matters from U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. So we are going to do that first. And then after that, we open the phone lines for you. If you have any immigration-related questions, you can give us a call or you can leave your question in the YouTube chat. Good morning to you, ladies.
Good morning, Nora. Good morning, Nadine. Good morning to our wonderful and loyal listeners. Happy Monday. And of course, happy Columbus Day to those celebrating in the United States. And I think it's Thanksgiving for Nadine.
Yes, I was just about to say, every time there's a holiday in the US, there's also a holiday in Canada. I wonder who's copying who.
Listen, Nora. Good morning, Miss Lee. And yes, good morning to our listeners and viewers. Happy Thanksgiving Day to all our Canadian friends and family. Nora, we're north, so I think they're the ones copying us.
I don't know. How do the holidays travel? Do they travel up or do they travel down?
They go down.
Oh, boy. Well, happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you mentioned family, and that's pretty much what Thanksgiving is all about. It's family and friends getting together, having good food and having a good time. And, yes, we're thankful every day for our blessings. But Nora, just like you made time for your family on the weekend, we have to make more time. Life gets so busy.
Absolutely.
And we get so busy. We need to slow down sometimes and make time for our family. And, talking about family, of course, I'm thankful my mom is still alive. She's 84. And I always say to her, you have all your faculties in order. Thank God for that. And of course, my aunts, my post office mother, my mom worked at the Froome Post Office for many, many years. And I want to say a big shout out to Miss Ritchie and Miss Salmon. My mom says Miss Ritchie listens to us every week.
Oh,
so
nice.
Blessings to you and your family, Mrs. Richards.
Awesome. Yeah, man, we definitely need to make time for family. Especially in this time when things can get so fast paced and the time slips by so easily before you realize it's a year or 2 years since you've been back home or you've been to your other family members or seen your other family members physically. So it's important that we make time indeed for family members. I was thinking, we should probably have something like Thanksgiving in Jamaica, but then I was saying to myself, that happens all the time. What Thanksgiving is in the United States and Canada, I feel like it happens very often in Jamaica,
every Sunday in Jamaica,
where people come together, family come together, and cook a whole heap of food, and some people every Sunday is a 3-meat Sunday for them, so it's not an unusual thing. But happy Thanksgiving to those in Canada and happy Columbus Day to all of you in the United States. All right, so we're gonna get into the updates. We may have to continue after the break, but that's fine. Gonna start with you, Opal, and then Nadine.
All right, so not much of an update, but I want to remind our listeners of something very important. A lot of people think, okay, I've gotten my green card now. I'm now a lawful permanent resident. I don't have to worry. Let me just go file my citizenship. I'm seeing it. I mean, this new administration promised that they're going to be revisiting those green card applicants, those permanent residents. And believe me, they have. I mean, even last week I did so many consults with people who at their citizenship interview, they were being questioned about the green card application that happened maybe over 5 years ago. And so they're being threatened that, they need to provide more evidence, especially if it is that you got that green card through marriage per se. And so now they're being asked to provide more evidence that the marriage indeed was bona fide, even though USCIS may have adjudicated before, but maybe it's because of new evidence that came to light after you became a permanent resident. So for example, if you got your green card through marriage, and then let's say you did your interview in Jamaica at the consulate, you entered, you may spend 2 days with a man or a woman, whomever was filing for you, and then you're off and you're saying, oh my goodness, I have my 10-year green card now, I'm fine. Then you later on, 5 years later, you file for your citizenship, especially if it is that loved one who was upset that you left them after 2 days, a week, a month, for months. They went ahead and maybe anonymously, sometimes they do it anonymously, sometimes they tell who it is, and they make a report to USCIS. So nowadays that you're thinking you don't know about it, you're thinking everything is fine, and that's your interview for your citizenship. They present you with the facts and present you that you only went with your spouse for 2 days, 1 month, 2 months. Is it that you only did that to get the green card? A lot of people may say that, you know what, I was being abused or anything like that. Do you have evidence that you were being abused? And were you being abused before you got the green card, but you still left from Jamaica, Venezuela, Trinidad, wherever you are, you came here, got the green card anyway, and just left the spouse? So be very, very careful. It's a little bit technical, but that was just one example, Nora. So don't just think that everything is smooth sailing just because you are now a permanent resident. Be very careful, dot your I's, cross your T. And a matter of fact, in this day and age, I would not even be going to a citizenship interview without an attorney.
Wow, it's gone that far now.
Yes.
Wow. So those of you in the United States, green card holders looking to get your citizenship, ensure that, the status under which you got your citizenship, your green card, then, you can prove that, this is a legitimate reason for, this was a legitimate, reason for me getting my green card, and hopefully all goes well for you. As Opal said, it helps if you get an attorney to go with you. All right. We're up on a break, so we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will get the update from Canada, and then we'll go right into your questions.
Decorate and redecorate your space with water-resistant, colorful, and fast-drying paints from Edgechem Paints. The time by Edgechem Paints, changing lives 1 gallon at a time, is
9:16.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With this thing, Honeybee.
And Karim Boyatings
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you say?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to EZONE blinddates@gmail.com. That's EZone blinddates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions.
Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. Tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's talk justice every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
Good morning, good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays, and we're joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. And we are getting the update now. Well, we just got the update, or just some additional information for you where green cards are concerned from Opal. And now we'll go over to Nadine.
Thanks, Nora. Nora, it's actually a reminder. I would like to talk about what is called a travel document. And a travel document is for someone who has who is a permanent resident, but your PR card, your permanent resident card, has expired, and you have traveled outside of Canada. And of course, you now need a valid document to return to Canada. So, Nora, when you become a permanent resident of Canada, and of course it means you have physically landed, a permanent resident card is sent in the mail to you. Normally, this card is valid for 5 years. And every 5 years, you need to apply to renew your card, unless, of course, you have applied for citizenship once you qualify for citizenship.
Right.
If your permanent resident card has expired, and you travel outside of Canada, then you need to apply for what is called a travel document in order to return. Nora, one of the biggest challenges that a lot of clients have when they're doing either their permanent resident card or their travel document application is listing all of your travel dates for the last 5 years. So I would like to remind persons, if you're in Jamaica or wherever outside of Canada you are, and you please check your travel documents, because if your card is going to expire or it has already expired, we know Christmas is coming up. A lot of persons are planning to come home for Christmas. Ensure that you check your documents. If your card is going to expire, please apply for a new one before you leave. Otherwise, it means when you get to Jamaica or wherever you're traveling to, you will need to apply for the travel document. You'll submit your application online, and then you will submit your passport to the Visa Application Center. The process may take a week or two, Nora, depending on, of course, processing times. So it's important, if you know you're only going home for 2 weeks, you got to submit that application as soon as you get there.
Right.
Thanks, Nora.
No problem. And that travel history is just if you are applying for the travel document.
Whether you're applying, so if you're applying for the travel document, yes, you need to list all your travels within the last 5 years. Sorry. For the permanent resident card, you also need to list that as well as for your citizenship application.
Okay.
So for anyone who is a permanent resident, you need to keep a log of your travel dates. Keep a copy of your airline tickets, because as you know, Nora, your passport is not always stamped anymore whenever you travel.
Okay. Good piece of advice there for those in Canada who are permanent residents looking to get their citizenship. Ensure that you have those dates logged somewhere, because you're going to need that information for the last 5 years. And if you travel a lot, then that's a lot of information. So you need to ensure that you have that logged. Thank you so much, Nadine. And we are now at the point in the program where we open the phone lines for you. If you have any questions, immigration-related questions for the United States or Canada, then you can give us a call. The numbers to call, 876-630-9371. There's also 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255. So that's 630-9371. That goes up to 4, and 618-8255. Let me begin with some of the questions I'm already seeing in our YouTube chat. The first one is for you, Opal. It says, what should a parent take in when going to the U.S. Embassy for an interview for a child?
Okay, but what type of interview? Is it for a visiting visa or an immigrant visa? If it's a visiting visa, then that parent would want to take in as much evidence for the parent to show the parent's ties to the home country. So in this case, in Jamaica. So I would say the parent should bring in their documents showing that they have a steady job in Jamaica, maybe some pay stubs, job letter. If they own any assets, cars, land, property, they should bring that in. If the child is in school, then of course I would say bring something maybe like a school letter to show that the child is registered in school.
All right. Thank you so much, Opal. Here's another one for you. It says, for a person who has been filed for and the petitioner died before the filing was approved, can the previous priority date be used in a subsequent filing to fast track it?
So it depends on if the person would have to file a reinstatement, and the I-130, which is the immigrant petition, must have been approved prior to the person's death. So if the I-130 was filed and it was still pending at the time, unfortunately, the application has died with that person. If the I-130 was approved and they were just waiting for a priority date, example, to become current, or for processing at the National Visa Center level, then a suitable qualified relative may step in. And so, yes, it will pick up the original priority date. So, for example, that relative might be maybe a father-in-law, a sibling, a child, a son, daughter, could be a son-in-law, could be a daughter-in-law, could be a sister-in-law, could even be a brother-in-law or a grandparent or a grandchild or a legal guardian could step in place of that person that was deceased. But the key is immigrant petition must have been approved at the time of the person's death.
Is there a follow-up from that same question? Is there a time within which you must submit a new or have someone pick up on that filing before it is null? For example, if the person died this year, how long before you have to find someone else? Is there a time?
Right. So you want to do it as soon as possible before they go ahead and, because what happened is that if the filing was sent over to National Visa Center, they're going to go ahead and tell USCIS to revoke that I-130. So even if it had been revoked, you want to do this on a timely manner. So as soon as possible. I've seen people even do it before a visa number even becomes available, just so that they're doing it and they're just standing waiting now for a visa number to become available or a priority date to become available. So no, you can't do this 10 years later, 5 years later, Nora. You have to do it before they revoke. The aim is to do it before USCIS revokes the I-130.
Okay. All right.
And usually they revoke it after, maybe after a year.
All right. So as soon as possible then, which is just as soon as possible. All right. We have a caller on the line. Anne, good morning.
Hi, morning.
Morning.
A question for the U.S. immigration officer. If you are married and your spouse is filing for you, but you didn't change your name to your married name, the application should be made in the name that you're currently using, which is your maiden name, or you should make application for the married name.
All right. So it's your spouse that's filing for you?
Yes.
So you need to put that application in whatever name that you want to be known by afterwards. So even if you don't, there's no law that says you have to actually change to the spouse name. But if you know that later on, because whatever name you put on there, that's the name that the green card is going to come in. So don't get upset later on because you put your maiden name on the application and then maybe your spouse and you had wanted your spouse's name to be on it, or you wanted to change your maiden name, then guess what? The green card is going to come in whatever name you put it in. So whatever name you know that you want to be known as thereafter for the rest of your life, that's the name that you put as your last name.
All right. Thank you.
Because remember, you're going to have the marriage certificate anyway to show that you're now that person.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much for calling. Rohan, good morning.
Good morning.
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 Yeah, I have a question for the U.S. immigration.
Go ahead.
Well, I have a daughter in the United States. She's filing for me. And I'm married. This girl I'm married in Canada from 2018. When I married her in 2018, she abandoned me right then. So about 6 months after she abandoned me. So my daughter filing for me now in the US. Now they say that it's approved, but my spouse son got in some trouble in Canada. So they cannot grant me the visa, so I don't know what can I do.
Oh, wait a minute now. Good morning again. It sounds like you have several things going on for you, because what does your son have to do with your wife?
That's not my son. That's not my son. That's not my son. My wife's son. He's not my son.
Okay, and how long were you married for to that person?
From 2018.
Okay, so I don't think that alone is something to deny you your visa, unless they're tying something that you should have known something or about that son, or especially like it's drug related or something, or unless they're thinking that
it seems like it's drug related. But I don't talk to those persons since 2019. I don't talk. I don't communicate with them, so I don't know what's going on.
I understand, but listen, sir, that's what I'm telling you. Maybe you need to do a consultation. But I'm just saying. You see, immediately I could tell it's something to do with drug related, because when it's drug related, people might think one phone call you become a conspiracy. But don't give me, I don't want any information right now, because everybody's listening to your conversation. I think you need to do a consultation. I think you need to do a divorce from that other person. But the thing is that if the U.S., how the U.S. operates, they do what's called, if they have reason to believe that you were involved. So of course it has to be reasonable for them to believe that. So it's your burden to prove that you don't know anything about this person. You have been separated from this person from XYZ. You don't know anything about her family. She has abandoned you, and you didn't even know that this person was arrested or had some drug related. But I think the burden is upon you to prove that you have nothing to do with it. But I don't think that normally U.S. Embassy just doesn't deny something just like that. But I need to do a consultation to look into it, and I need to see the letter that they may have given to you to show that your application was denied because of your stepchild. Because that's what you're saying, right? It was denied because of your stepchild's arrest.
Yeah.
Yeah, something is not sounding right there. I mean, something is not right.
So how can I get in touch with you, please?
Right. Continue to listen to the program. I think we'll be giving out our numbers soon.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, Rohan, just keep listening. As soon as we come back from the break, Opal and Nadine will give their contact information. We take a break and come back with more Immigration Mondays.
Spectrum Insurance Brokers provides quality insurance coverage and risk management services. The time by Spectrum Insurance Brokers Limited, setting the industry standards, is...
It's 9:30.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM. Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune in to the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. Tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's talk justice every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
Good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays. We're joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and the Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. And for those of you who may be listening and you want to book a consultation with Nadine or Opal, I'm going to allow them to give their contact information now. Opal and then Nadine.
Thank you, Nora. So for Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it is 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. You may also find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at FlowJam Legal. That's FLOJAMLEGAL. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. For Nadine Mahabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Nora.
Thank you, ladies. We are going to go back to your questions and your calls. If you have any questions, you can give us a call. Let me remind you of the phone numbers: 876-630-9371, and that goes up to 4, and 618-8255. Those are the numbers to call, and we also have the YouTube chat, so it's always open for you to ask your questions there if you're unable to call. This one is for you, Nadine. It says, what does a U.S. green card holder need to travel to Canada or to visit Canada?
Thanks, Nora. So if you're a U.S. green card holder and you're traveling by land, so you're not taking an airplane to come to Canada, you will need your valid passport and, of course, your green card. Now, if you're traveling by air, so you're taking an airplane to come to Canada, you will need to check and see if you need what is called an electronic travel authorization, an ETA. Simply go online and you can double check to see if you're from a visa exempt country, you don't normally need the ETA. But if you're from a country that normally requires a visa, such as, for example, Jamaica, and you're traveling by air. So that's the difference, Nora. You need to see whether you're traveling by air or you're just driving across at the border.
All right. There is another question on YouTube here for you, Opal. It's asking if a person who just got their green card can travel to Jamaica for 2 months.
Yes, they can travel to Jamaica for 2 months. But you know what, Nora? One of my biggest, the most calls I get, or the most recently from Jamaica, are people who are green card holders and they're spending way too much time in Jamaica. I know Jamaica's sweet and all. It is so nice down there, or maybe they have something going on there, jobs or something. And so they're in jeopardy of losing their residence because what they're doing, they will go to Jamaica for 3 months, 4 months, 2 months. They will come to the U.S. for 2 days, 1 week. Then they'll go back again to Jamaica for 2 months, 3 months, because they hear me on Nationwide where I tell people, do not let 6 months catch you outside the U.S. So what they do, Nora, they do the 4 months, then come back for 1 week, go back. That even doing that, you might see you have problems with CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, because they may still make a determination that it appears that you have abandoned your residence. You're using your green card like a visa, like you're visiting the U.S. and living in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And it's not supposed to be that way. Once you become a lawful permanent resident, your home is now the United States. You used to be living in the United States and visiting, it sounds bad, but visiting the country that you were born in. So my thing is, their goal is work towards your citizenship, get those qualified days. If it's based on a 5-year period that before you can become a citizen, you just have to spend 2.5 years in the United States or 914 days in the United States within the last 5 years. It doesn't have to be consecutive, just when we add up all the times in versus out, you must have that time in the United States. Then you become a U.S. citizen. Once you're a U.S. citizen, you can live anywhere you want to live. And I think you need to make that sacrifice.
Absolutely, because that's the choice you made when you decided you want to be filed for and you got that green card. So, yeah, you have to stay in the people them country. That's why you got the green card. All right, here's another one. It says, I'm a green card holder. I filed for my son in 2023. He turned 17 last September. How far are they now?
All right, so for green card holders filing for minor children, right now they're at February 2024. Since this person filed in 2023, they're actually past that now, but the key is whether the I-130 itself was approved. Because the I-130, sometimes it may take 2 years to be approved. So maybe I'm thinking in this person's case, maybe the I-130, which is the first part of it, the I-130 is the immigrant petition. Maybe that is still pending. So she has to wait for that to be approved. Then it is normally sent over to the National Visa Center for them to continue the processing to apply for the visa itself, where the person would have to do the affidavit of support and submit all the civil documents. And so if they're at that stage, they could look now to get, and that has been completed and they're documentarily qualified, they should be getting an interview any minute now because they're already at 2024.
All right. Thank you so much. This question for you, Nadine, it says, if a J1 visa holder needs an invitation to apply for a Canadian visa.
Sorry, Nora, they're asking if they need an invitation letter. Normally, if you're doing a Canadian visitors, actually, let me just clarify this. Opal, what is a J1 visa?
It's an exchange program, so you can get the J1 to come to the United States to work sometime in the hotel industry, sometimes to go to school, or sometimes just to work for temporary and go back home.
Okay.
Sometimes the government of Jamaica sometimes sponsor them as well. So a lot of time with the J1, it has a restriction where you have to leave after you've completed the exchange program in the United States. You have to sometimes go back to your home country for 2 years before re-entering the US.
And normally, how long is the J1 valid for?
Oh, no, it depends. Sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year, sometimes 2 years.
Okay, thank you. So Nora, I'm going to say it depends on when their J1 visa is going to expire, or their, whatever document it is going to, they're going to have it expiring, because they don't want to wait until last minute to be applying for a Canadian visitor's visa. With that said, if they're planning to visit Canada, you may either get an invitation letter from the person you're visiting, or if you're planning to stay at an Airbnb or a hotel, you show the information for your accommodation and that, yes, you can afford to stay at a short-term accommodation if you're not getting the invitation letter.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Here's another one from YouTube. It says, adult children, this one is for you, Opal. Adult children filed for in March 2018 by U.S. permanent resident parent. The parent is now a citizen, but has not updated the status with the USCIS. What's the wait time for the children as a permanent resident, and is it different for the children since the person is now a citizen?
All right. So for right now, they're very close. It doesn't matter whether the person's a citizen or a permanent resident, the parent, because a permanent resident right now they're at November 22nd, 2016, and if the parent was a citizen, they're only at November 8th, 2016. So basically, it's a difference of within the same month.
All right. Thank you.
One is at November 8th and one is at November 22nd. Both same 2016. So they're only processing applications that were filed on or before that date in 2016.
All right. Here's another one. This one is for you, Nadine. It says, what is the difference in the process when applying for a Canadian transit visa versus a tourist visa?
There's actually no difference, Nora. You're just designating what type of visa it is that you're applying for. So the transit visa is, of course, if you're doing a connection between, you have to fly into Canada just for the purpose of connecting to another country. So it means you're not planning to come out of the airport. However, or maybe if it's an overnight flight or something like that. However, you still have to provide all of your supporting documents as if you were doing a visitor's visa. So the only difference is the selection of the type of visa that you're applying for. And yes, of course, if you're saying you're doing a transit visa to connect to another country, then you're going to be showing your ticket or your travel itinerary. I don't recommend persons purchase a ticket until they actually have the visas in their passport. So your itinerary for the other country that you're connecting to.
All right, thank you. I see Rick Den asking about a farm worker applying for a visa while in Canada. Applying for which visa? Rick Den, if you could just clarify so that we can get a response there for you. Another question here on YouTube says, Morning Opal, is the government shutdown affecting the processing time for green cards and other immigration services?
I don't think so, Nora, because remember, USCIS is fee-based. That's why you guys pay those thousands of dollars. And so court is still in session as usual. We're still going to court for removal proceedings, and cases are still being processed. But again, USCIS is fee-based. That's why you pay $1,000, $800, $600. You pay for this.
All right, we are up on another break, so we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll continue taking your questions from the YouTube chat, and we'll take your calls.
Fill all your prescriptions, get cosmetics and other pharmaceutical items at Mannings Hill Pharmacy, located at 34A Mannings Hill Road, Kingston. Telephone 924-6280. At Mannings Hill Pharmacy, they stock all the hard-to-get medication. The time by Mannings Hill Pharmacy is
9:45.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I am Nora Gay Banton. We are taking your calls inside Immigration Mondays this morning, joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. So if you have any questions for either of the ladies, you can give us a call. The numbers to call, 876-630-9371-4 or 618-8255. So Rick then clarified. So Rick then is asking if a farm worker can apply for a visa while in Canada on farm work. Rick then, I hope I am interpreting what you're saying correctly. Nadine?
talking about applying for a U.S. visitor's visa, because if they're already in Canada as a farm worker, they would have valid status in Canada. So if they would like to enter the U.S., then I believe, yes, they can apply for their visitor's visa online. Opal would be able to tell them about the process for the visitor's visa.
Right. You can apply for a visiting visa wherever you reside or where you have lawful status.
All right. Here is another one from YouTube. This person is asking if a British citizen can leave from Jamaica to the US on his British passport.
Yes. If you are a British citizen, yes, you can do that.
All right. This one from one Devon on YouTube says, does a green card holder need to apply for anything to travel to Jamaica?
Wait a minute. A green card holder? I'm assuming they would need to have permission to. I mean, this person's not a Jamaican then.
Well,
where's the person from? Because I mean, if they're from Jamaica, then they would have already had their Jamaican passport.
Right. I'm not sure. The person is just asking if you need to apply for anything. I guess if you're not Jamaican, then you would need. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not Jamaican, then of course you have to apply, and that would be a Jamaica question, not really a immigration, U.S. or Canada question.
All right, here is another one. Well, this is a follow-up. Marsha, read the transit visa to Canada. Nadine, she says, so if transiting through Canada, I may as well apply for a visitor's visa since I have reason to travel there as a tourist later. My passport has more than 5 years left.
Yes, I would definitely recommend that, because if you're planning to visit Canada, otherwise, to me, it would just make sense to do the visitor's visa. So just bear in mind, you need to show your ties to Jamaica, job letter, bank statements, property documents, motor vehicle documents. And again, if you're visiting someone, an invitation letter from them or information as it relates to where you'll be staying.
Okay. Here's another one. I think this one is for you, Opal. It says, is it advisable for a current student visa holder to apply for a visitor's visa if they desire to travel to the U.S. after their studies?
Yes. I mean, you can have dual visas. So I have a lot of clients who have both a B2 as well as an F1, student visa and a visiting visa.
Alrighty. We have a caller on the line. Melissa, good morning.
Good morning. I'm a special education teacher for over 5 years. I want to teach in Canada, but I am getting mixed information from everybody. And I think I'm being overwhelmed and I don't know what is true from what is lie. So I'd like to find out for myself.
What are your options? You want to know what options are available for you? Okay.
Yes.
Hi, good morning. No, I'm not sure I fully understand your question. You said you're getting mixed information. Information as it relates to what type of application?
Yeah, well, they were saying that I could apply under the technical arm to get a job in Canada. But then I was told that I would have to re-certify in order to apply to teach special education in Canada. So I'm not sure what options I have. I'm not sure. And you're not giving me
the first thing is, are you coming to Canada as a worker or a permanent resident? It does sound to me like you probably need to have a detailed consultation done, but just to provide you with general information, if you're coming to Canada as a worker, the first step would be to find an employer who is willing to offer you a job. They need to do what is called a labor market application. Once that is approved, then you can apply for your work permit. However, in your case, you're applying as a teacher. Teaching is a regulated occupation in Canada, and each province has their own regulatory body. So depending on the province that you're getting the job offer in, yes, you would need to be licensed with that. So for example, if you're coming to Ontario, it's the College of Teachers of Ontario. If it's Alberta, it's the College of Teachers of Alberta. So depending on the job that you're being offered, you would need to see what is the regulatory body for that province, meet their requirements, and then of course you're submitting that information with your work permit application. With that said, if you're getting a job that is not in a regulated occupation, then of course you would not have to go through that process.
Okay, can I get a contact number, please?
You may continue listening and we'll provide our numbers in a short while.
All right, thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for calling, Melissa. Yeah, you see, it's very important because as we usually say here on the program, Nadine, that people see information about jobs, especially about jobs in the United States and Canada, all over the place, and there's all kinds of information as it relates to the types of jobs and how you can get those jobs. So people can get overwhelmed, as Melissa sounds as if she is, when all of this information is coming to you and you really don't know what is factual, and you just don't know where to turn first because of the amount of information coming to you all at once.
Right. And Nora, that's why I always say to persons, have a consultation done, know what your options are. Even if you're doing an application on your own, that's fine, but at least know where to start.
Yeah. We have one last caller, Timothy. Go ahead quickly.
Hi, Nora. So, and ladies, so my daughter is a student in Canada, and her student visa expires in December. She's applied for a new one. It ended in December because she had to get a new passport, etc., which she did over the summer in Jamaica. But she wants to come to Texas for the weekend and then go back to Canada. And the school has advised her not to leave the country. But is that so? She has a U.S. visa, and she has a current student visa. And she has applied for the new one, and it's in process.
Okay,
Can
so
she leave the country?
And so, no, it's a bit difficult to hear him.
Right. So he's correct me if I'm wrong, Timothy, but your daughter has a student visa, but it expired, and she.
No, it expires in December.
Okay, will expire soon.
Right.
But she also has a U.S. visitor's visa, a valid U.S. visa.
And she has applied to renew her student visa. And it's in process.
Okay.
And the school has advised her not to leave.
Okay.
But can she leave and come back? She wants to go on Wednesday and come back on Monday.
If she has a valid student permit, not a visa, if she has a valid student permit.
Yes.
Because the visa is what you get in your passport. The permit is what is issued to you by Immigration Canada. So if she has a valid passport that's valid for longer than 6 months, and she has a valid student permit, in terms of re-entering Canada, I don't think that is an issue. Now, I don't know about entering the U.S., if she'll have an issue with that.
No, she has a U.S. visa.
Right, but her permit is expiring in September.
In December.
So I'm not sure if that is the reason why the school is advising her not to travel.
But I think Timothy is saying she's intending to leave and be back in Canada before it actually expires, right?
Long before.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, she, from an immigration point of view for Canada, she has valid documents, can re-enter Canada. In terms of entering the U.S., I don't know if she'll have any issues there. What I'd recommend, if she's planning to travel, she should take the proof of submission of the new application to show that, yes, she has submitted it, her letter of current enrollment, as well as the letter of acceptance to show that she will not be completing her studies in December and that she'll be continuing on with her program.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, no problem, Timothy. We are up on the time, so I'm going to allow you ladies to give your contact information once more as we wrap up to go. Go ahead, Nadine, and then Opal.
Thanks, Nora. For Nadine Mehabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-2 249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Over to you, Ms. Lee, and again, a very happy Thanksgiving Day.
All right. Thank you, Nadine. For Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. You may also find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at FlowJam Legal, FLOJAMLEGAL. Happy holidays, everybody in Canada and in the United States, and have a productive week.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. Next week, Monday, is a holiday, so we won't be on next week. We'll be back the following Monday. So that's the 27th. So see you guys then. That's all the time we have for the Consumer Hour and Immigration Mondays this morning. And waiting in the wings, it's Cliff Hughes Online.
That was the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Ever wondered how to spot a